Close your eyes and let the sound of the ocean fill your thoughts. Imagine gentle waves brushing against an endless shore, the air soft with the scent of salt and distant rain, the horizon fading into mist, where the sky meets the sea. There, somewhere beyond that line, lies a story that has traveled across centuries, a story whispered by philosophers, retold by poets, and dreamt by wanderers. It is the story of a lost world, the story of Atlantis. Atlantis was said to be a vast island, larger than any known to humankind, situated beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. It was not merely an island, but a shining empire of wisdom and beauty, a place where men and gods once walked side by side. The philosopher Plato wrote of it, speaking softly through the ages, of a civilization both mighty and kind, a place where knowledge was sacred and the people lived in harmony with the earth and sea. He described marble temples reaching for the heavens, golden statues of Poseidon, and gardens that shimmered with life. Rivers ran through the city like silver veins, and bridges arched gracefully above the flowing water. But even as Plato wrote his words, Atlantis had already been lost for thousands of years. It existed only in memory, and perhaps in dreams. Many have searched for it: explorers, kings, scientists, even mystics. Some say it lies beneath the sands of the Sahara, others beneath the cold waves near the Azores. But maybe Atlantis was never meant to be found. Maybe it lives in the quiet corners of our imagination, a reminder of balance, of peace, of a time when the world breathed gently. Tonight, as the waves whisper outside your window, let them carry you back to that distant age when Atlantis still stood tall beneath the morning sun. And there we begin our story. Moreno. Long ago, before memory, before history, there was an island blessed by the gods. Its hills were green and soft, its rivers flowed clear and sweet. At its heart stood a tall mountain, rising gently above the ocean like a guardian. On that mountain lived a woman named Cleito, kind and quiet, beloved by all for her gentle heart. Poseidon, the god of the sea, saw her one day from his chariot of waves, and his heart was moved. He rose from the depths, bringing calm to the waters, and built around her a home unlike any other. He carved circles of land and sea, one of water, one of earth, and again water, each ring flowing around the other like a living symbol of balance. In the very center, he placed a small island for Cleito, and surrounded it with silver walls that glimmered beneath the sun. There Poseidon and Cleito lived together, and from their love came 10 sons, 10 kings who would rule over the lands of Atlantis. The eldest, Atlas, was given the crown of the entire island. From his name came Atlantis, the island of Atlas. Poseidon blessed his sons with wisdom and strength. He taught them how to build great temples, how to shape stone and bronze, and how to live in harmony with the sea. They built cities that sparkled under the sunlight, bridges that stretched over the waters, and gardens where lilies and olive trees grew side by side. At the center stood a magnificent temple, its roof of silver, its walls of gold, and inside a statue of Poseidon riding his chariot drawn by 6 shining horses. Every moon cycle, the kings of Atlantis would gather there to give thanks to the god of the sea. They offered fruits and sweet-smelling oils, and songs that echoed softly through the halls. In those days, Atlantis knew only peace. The air was gentle, the hearts of men were kind. They lived close to nature, and the sea carried their ships safely across the world. But as centuries passed, the sons of Atlas grew distant from their father's wisdom. The island's beauty remained, yet in their hearts, a quiet hunger began to stir. Still for a time Atlantis remained a paradise, a vision of what the world could be when gods and men lived as one. And now, as the ocean hums its endless song, let us drift onward to the golden age of Atlantis, when it shone brighter than any empire before or after. The sun rose gently over the marble towers of Atlantis, and the city glowed like a pearl upon the water. Golden light touched the temples, the bridges, the quiet harbors where ships waited with white sails folded. The people of Atlantis lived with grace and balance. They studied the stars, the movement of tides, the rhythm of the earth itself. The Atlanteans were wise builders. They carved great halls from crystal stone and channeled rivers through their streets to keep the city cool and alive. In the mornings, the scent of jasmine and sea salt filled the air. Children played among fountains, their laughter blending with the call of seabirds. At night, the city glowed softly with oil lamps, their reflections dancing across the canals like tiny stars. They believed knowledge was a sacred gift. Their schools taught not only logic and science, but also kindness, patience, and the art of quiet thought. Healers learned the language of herbs and minerals. Philosophers studied the harmony of the human soul. And everywhere music was played softly, songs that imitated the murmur of the ocean. Trade routes spread across the world. Ships from Atlantis sailed to distant lands, to Egypt, to Iberia, to the islands beyond the horizon. They carried gold, bronze, fine cloth, and returned with stories, spices, and wisdom. But though Atlantis grew powerful, it remained, for a time, gentle. Its people cared for the earth, and the earth cared for them in return. In the great temple of Poseidon, priests offered prayers not for conquest but for balance. They asked the sea to remain calm, the winds to be kind, and the hearts of men to stay humble. And for many centuries, the gods listened. Atlantis shone like a beacon of peace, a dream realized upon the waves. But even paradise can fade. As generations passed, the people of Atlantis began to change. The temples remained bright, the gardens still bloomed, but the hearts of men grew restless. They desired more than harmony. They longed for power, for dominion over the world beyond their shores. Some forgot the teachings of Poseidon. They built greater walls, higher towers, not from reverence but from pride. They began to see themselves as gods, not as children of the sea. The priests warned of imbalance. They said, "The sea listens, it remembers." But few paid heed. The kings of Atlantis sent ships across the known world, claiming new lands, demanding tribute. They took what they once would have shared. They ruled not with wisdom, but with fear. And slowly the ocean began to turn against them. Storms grew stronger, winds howled longer. The once clear waters darkened, and strange tremors shook the earth beneath their feet. Still they did not listen. They believed their city would stand forever, untouched by time, protected by its greatness. But the sea does not forget. And on one night, when the stars trembled above and the moon turned pale, Atlantis heard the whisper of its end. It began quietly, a low sound deep beneath the waves, like the breath of a sleeping giant. Then the ground began to move, first gently, then with growing fury. Temples cracked, statues fell, The marble streets split open, and fountains turned to geysers of salt and steam. The people rushed to the harbors, to the hills, to the highest towers. But the sea was faster. Waves rose like mountains, glowing white in the flashes of lightning. The sky wept rain, and the ocean roared as if reclaiming what was once its own. In that moment, the city that had shone brighter than gold was swallowed by the deep. The temples sank first, then the bridges, then the songs of its people faded beneath the storm. And when dawn came, the waters were still again, the ocean calm as glass, as if nothing had ever been there at all. But beneath those quiet waves, Atlantis remained, sleeping, timeless, untouched by decay. Some say Poseidon wept that night, that his tears became pearls on the ocean floor. Others say he merely watched and whispered, "Even beauty must return to silence." And so, Atlantis was gone, but its story, its light, would continue to echo through the ages. The ocean was silent, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Where once there had been marble towers and golden halls, now lay endless blue, soft currents drifting through the remains of memory. Sunlight shimmered faintly through the water, touching broken columns, scattered statues, and the silent steps that once echoed with laughter. Fish now swam through archways once meant for kings. Coral grew upon forgotten thrones. The city that had once touched the sky had become part of the sea's gentle rhythm. And yet, Atlantis was not gone. Its spirit lived within the waves, a pulse of quiet life, a whisper of beauty that never fades. Every grain of sand that glowed beneath the moon, every calm ripple that brushed against a lonely shore, carried the breath of Atlantis. The sea had taken what was proud and returned it to peace. It became a sanctuary, a place of stillness. No more pride, no more fear, only silence and the soft hum of eternity. Sometimes in the deep hours of the night, when the ocean is calm and the stars reflect like silver coins, a shimmer rises from below. It is said to be the light of Atlantis, a dream that never died. Perhaps its people still walk there, in gardens of coral and pearl, speaking softly through the currents, singing to the rhythm of the tides. Perhaps their souls found what we are all seeking, a home beyond time, a peace beyond words. The sea keeps their secret, and the world continues above, forgetting and remembering again. Now, as you rest, let the waves carry your thoughts far away, beyond the noise of the day, beyond the weight of the world. There is a place where everything is still, a place where marble cities sleep beneath the sea, where golden light moves like slow breath through the water, where time has no edge and dreams have no end. Atlantis is not lost. It lives within the gentle parts of you, the places that love calm mornings and the sound of distant rain. It lives in the quiet moments when you listen to your own heart and it beats in rhythm with the sea. Every tide that touches the shore, every soft wind that crosses your face, whispers the same truth. Nothing truly disappears. Everything beautiful simply changes form. So as you breathe slowly, imagine yourself floating through the calm waters. The surface above you glows with moonlight. Below, the ruins of Atlantis rest peacefully, covered in gold dust and silence. You drift between them, weightless, without fear, without thought, only calm. The ocean hums around you, deep, warm, eternal. Each breath becomes slower, each thought softer. until even the sound of your heartbeat feels like a distant echo of the sea. Atlantis calls no one now. It simply waits, not to be found, but to be felt. And as your eyes grow heavy, as the waves of sleep rise and fall, you realize you are already there. In the quiet halls of memory, in the soft rhythm of the tide, in the endless stream of the ocean. Sleep now, traveler. The sea will guard you. The world is gentle again, and Atlantis is home.